Good morning, great Americans. It's another great American video. Today is Monday, November 24th. It is Thanksgiving week in the year of our Lord 2025. That's 2025 AD, not CE. um, I'm just going to do one of my updates on a few subjects because I'd like to give a video for each of these subjects because they deserve something in depth. But it's Thanksgiving week, and I don't have time for all that. But these are sort of important. So, without BSing around anymore, let's get straight to it. Just a couple of quickies here. President Trump is to designate the Muslim Brotherhood as a foreign terrorist organization. That's good. Should have been done a long time ago. Better late than never. Number one, this one's important. So Mamdani, uh, Mayor, New York Mayor Mamdani met with Trump in the Oval Office every day. They seemed to get along. I'm sure they were very polite to each other. And then the asshole communist idiot Mamdani the next day comes out on NBC, of course, NBC, and says that he still thinks Trump is a fascist. So, you know, this Nazi slash fascist slash Hitler bullshit still persists, even though there is so much information to just say it's stupid. It still persists. So let me briefly state once again why, and especially in the case of Mamdani, why this is not only stupid, but it's utter sheer hypocrisy. For those who don't know, uh, you know, people have been told a lot of lies about what communism is, what fascism is. Oh, communism is on the left and fascism is far right. And all those stereotypes are bullshit. Bullshit. Okay? What you have on the political spectrum, call it right or left or whatever, you have on the one end of the political spectrum, you have total authoritarian control of the people by government, right? So no freedom, total control. The other end of the spectrum is no control, anarchy, bedlam, right? No government, just Mad Max, whatever. Just the law of the jungle, So that's the real political spectrum. And on that political spectrum, when it comes to extreme control, communists and fascists, we can include Nazis and the Soviet Union, communists and fascists, are the same, right? I've explained this before. Think about World War II. Think about Hitler and Stalin. Nazi, communist. Nazi Germany, Soviet Union. What do you have? On both sides, you have one man dictator rule. On both sides, you have one party system, one party only, the Nazi party and the Communist Party. On both sides, you have secret police that whisk people away in the middle of the night. You got the Gestapo and you got the KGB. On both sides, you have concentration camps. On the Germans, you got your concentration camps, and on the Soviets, they called them gulags. A lot of them were up in Siberia. Both of them just murdered political opponents in the middle of the night. And I tell you what, Stalin was a beast when it came to murdering political opponents, man. People just disappeared. Um, and and well, I won't go into World War II, but just to remember that Stalin and Hitler started out as allies in World War II until Hitler double-crossed Stalin and invaded Russia. And that's when he came to our side. So that brings into question the whole morality of World War II. It's like, yeah, we were fighting Hitler, which is important, but the guy that we had on our side was every bit as much of a Hitler as Hitler was. So my point is that communism and fascism are equal in every way, including their evil, not to mention their terrible running of the economy. I mean, Hitler was a socialist. I don't give a damn what any revisionist history has to say. Hitler was a pure socialist. I mean, he talked about National Socialism. And really, that's the only minor flavor twist between the socialism of communism and the socialism of fascism is that there's fascism, their socialism is more nationalistic, right? Whereas the Soviet communism, they saw communism as a global thing. They thought communism was going to take over the world as communism, not necessarily as Russian communism. Whereas Hitler was more nationalistic. He wanted socialism to take over the world too, but he wanted Germany to be the ruler of the world. Is very nationalistic. But still, aside from that minor difference in, is it chocolate or is it extra chocolate? Aside from that minor difference, they are the same. So for Mamdani to call Hitler a fascist is just a joke because, first of all, Trump. For Mamdani to call Trump a fascist, first of all, is just stupid. Because Trump is not Trump is a pure capitalist, American, freedom-loving, America-loving. It's just stupid to call Trump a fascist. But more importantly, it's the hypocrisy of it because he's a communist, whether he wants to say so or not. And he did say he's a socialist. But it's the same thing. Now, I want to encourage you to watch a video. I'm going to put a link in the description of the video. It's only 5 minutes long. It's the difference between fascism and communism, which is really nothing at all. So Mamdani's an idiot. He's a moron. He's going to fail. And, I think Trump did the best thing he could by meeting him, which is basically, just to sort of baffle everybody, and probably to let people know in advance, like, because when Mamdani fails, and he will never blame it on his policies. What he's going to do is somehow find a way to say that Trump and the Republicans got in his way, and Trump's gonna be able to say, "Man, I told the dude so. I had him right here in my office. I told him what he was doing is wrong. He didn't listen to me. It's not my fault." Right? So, that's pretty good. But really, communism and fascism are the same thing. The only difference is the nationalism flavor of fascism versus the globalism flavor of communism. But same thing, one party rule, dictatorship, thuggery, secret police, concentration camps, warmongers, same exact thing. So that's that. Number two, Bill O'Reilly was on with Howie Mandel the other day. They were talking about ICE, and for some reason, I don't watch Howie Mandel much, so maybe this is a regular thing. I don't know. But Howie had his stupid, ignorant, woke daughter on, and his daughter said something that just pissed me off.
They have been picked up. I don't know if they've been deported, but they have been picked up.
Well,
and held.
Look, picked up is different than being booted.
And still held.
So you have to take people in to see what their status is. I have the solution to it. And I told President Trump.
But why are you picking people up without knowing what their status is?
Because if they don't have
isn't that just rounding people up?
Some kind of credential to be here.
But a lot of them do, and a lot of them are in the process of getting
it. Then the attorney could sue the federal government.
Oh, really? Could you stop any brown person and say, "Show me you're allowed to be here"?
No. He's saying. Well, you can. Do
you want to go up to you and say, "Show me that you're allowed to be here"?
No, if they think that somebody's.
Why would they think that?
But you're going two steps
It's
ahead.
probable cause.
Because of the color of their skin.
No.
No,
Why?
you're dealing with you're being a little more woke, because that's not why.
Okay. Why would they stop them and ask them if they're allowed to be here then?
It
If they have
depends on their
probable cause, if they
Anyway, what she tried to say that ICE goes around harassing brown people, and that the whole deportation thing is racism against brown people. Now, to his credit, Howie Mandel actually put his daughter in check for a minute. He says, "You're being a little too woke." He goes, "No, wait a minute." And then she stopped and she goes, "Okay, well, you tell me what it is." And he said they look for people with probable cause. Probable cause is what causes them to go into a certain place and make arrests. They don't just go into places with brown people. But I want to expand on that a little bit. Let's just talk about money. You know, law enforcement guys, they get paid a lot of money when they do these raids, like the police. Like if police do, you ever seen in the news those big police raids where there's like 100, 30 police, and they've all got the camouflage, the helmets on and everything. When they arrange one of those raids, those things cost a lot of money because the police are getting special like hazard pay. There's overtime. They're bringing out a lot of vehicles. So when you see ICE likewise go into some place to arrest an illegal alien, you're talking a gaggle of federal employees getting hazard pay, overtime, they're bringing out the paddy wagon, the vehicles, and blah blah blah, and that costs money. That costs money. Now you will only spend money like that when you know what the fuck you're doing. You just don't throw it. So that's what makes this notion of idiots, of woke idiots like Howie Mandel's daughter, this notion that they're just roaming about arresting brown people is stupid. Stupid because do you realize how much money would just be draining from the accounts of the immigration department if they had these teams of federal agents just wandering around looking for brown people? I mean, it's first of all, it's so stupid on the money side of it, and you couldn't even afford to do it. And then on the logistical side of it, I mean, America is a big place, and we've got like what 400 million people, and how many people do you think work for ICE? Maybe a few thousand. I mean, I don't know. The idea that ICE is roaming about the United States of America, rounding up brown people, is just so stupid. And it's so ignorant. It just goes to prove what I have said all along, which that young people these days are not taught how to think. Because if you sat down and thought it out, you would come up with what I just said. What it exposes is the true racism of Democrats. Now, Democrats love to say that Republicans are racist, and that's a big lie. But the true racism, the insidious, hidden racism of Democrats is exposed in situations like this. They are the ones that, first of all, they assume that illegal aliens are brown people. That's racist right there. Which is not true. You've got illegal aliens from Asia, you've got Russians, you've got whatever. It's actually their assumption that illegal aliens refer to brown people is a racist assumption on the part of liberals, not Republicans. They are engaging in something that is called race baiting. This is a favorite weapon of Democrats and the left is race baiting. So what is race baiting? That is when you take a subject that has absolutely nothing to do with race and you make it about race so that you can totally distort the argument and make people angry, right? oh, I can't win the argument based on the merits, so somehow I'm going to make it against race, make it about race, so that I can label my opponent racist and get everybody mad at him. When nothing has absolutely nothing to do with the topic. That is what Howie Mandel's daughter was engaging in when she was saying that ICE is rounding up brown people. Not only is it stupid, not only is it a lie, not only is it logistically impossible for ICE to be roaming America and rounding up brown people, not only is it monetarily insane because of the money that they spend for each of these raids and the overtime and everything I told you before, it's also race baiting to say it. So what it is she cannot win on the argument because the argument is solid. Illegal aliens are here illegally, and ICE is rounding them up to deport them according to the law. You can't argue against that. That's a stone cold fact. So what do? You make it about race because she can't win the you can't win the argument. So you make it about race, and that's called race baiting, and that is the racism of the left. And that brings me to my final thing on the. Oh, I'll put a link to that video too. So watch the two links. And that brings, speaking of racism, that brings us to the final topic, which is very small, but I just have to throw it in. Jasmine Crockett, known racist and imbecile, says that the polls say she can win the Senate seat for Texas. Well, man, she is such a blatant, just an in-your-face racist and hateful liar, and just full of real hate and anger. I find it hard to believe that Texas would elect her as a senator. I certainly hope not. I hope this is just another lie. But she was on CNN, according to Breitbart News. She was on Sunday on CNN State of the Union, and she says the polls can say she can win in Texas. I don't know. After Mamdani win in New York, you think about some of the great people who've been mayors of New York, and it's the heart of capitalism. New York, and the Wall Street, and the financial center, and blah blah blah. How the fuck does a communist become mayor of New York? I don't know. Maybe a black, racist, filthy DEI pig like Jasmine Crockett become a senator in Texas. Let's hope not. So, anyways, that's it for today. A quickie. I tried to run through a bunch of subjects super duper quick. Please click the links that I provided. I think you'll find them very interesting. And to add to what I just said, please subscribe to our Facebook page. Excuse me. Please subscribe to our, you can subscribe to our Facebook page too, but it comes and goes because they're always banning us. Real news is not welcome at Facebook. No, I was going to say, please subscribe to our Substack page and to our Rumble video page. Although all of our videos show up on the Substack page. So if you just subscribe to the Substack page, that's fine too. I'll put a link to that in the subscription to the video. Happy Thanksgiving 2025. Ooh, I'll put a link to Rush Limbaugh's story of the real story of Thanksgiving as told by the Maharishi, Rush Limbaugh. I'll put a link to that in the description of the video, and I'll see you in the next great American video. Adios, muchachos.